Hello, my name is Alexander Angelov, and this is my final dossier for the subject of Computing 1. First off, we have the index with all of the works that I'm going to be presenting. Then we have the first one of them, which is the layers. So basically, for every drawing, I created a series of layers, and I put each part of the drawing on different layers so that everything is more organized, so that I work faster, so that I work more efficiently. And yes, then we have the very first exercise. We were asked to draw a table in three views, top, front, and side view, as well as we have a zoomed in image of the place where the leg of the table and the top and the tabletop meet. It's a little more detailed. I decided to use this metal texture for the table because I think it's a future forward design to have like a table with metal legs, and I added some dimensions. Okay, we go on to the next exercise. We were asked to draw the famous zigzag chair. On the internet, I saw a lot of images of that chair being made out of wood, so I decided to use this wooden texture for this chair because I think it looks pretty sleek. Then we were asked for in the third exercise to draw the red and blue chair. This chair I drew in AutoCAD, but I colored it in Photoshop because I wanted to add this specific texture. I added papyrus paper, the one that the ancient Egyptians used, because I like the way it kind of desaturates the colors a little bit and makes it seem a little more unconventional. I added some dimensions so that it's more clear too. Then we have this lamp, which is still sold in IKEA. So I went on the IKEA website, I looked at many reference images, and I saw that the frame around the lamp, the holding structure, is made out of wood. So I used this, I think almost the same almost the same wooden texture because I tried to make it look as close to the original as possible. And I tried to recreate the original look of the lamp. Then for the fifth exercise, we were asked to draw our kitchen. For this kitchen, I used a lot of textures to make it look once again realistic. So as you can see here, for the tiles on the floor, I used polished stone texture because that's the most common material used for tiles. And then for the inside of the kitchen, I use like uh, wooden logs that are gray, that have this gray tonality because I really like the way it looks. And then for the tabletops, I used marble, which is classic. In order to make the sink look more realistic, I took the image of an actual sink and I placed it on top of it because it adds this sense of depth, and also you get like the metal texture too. For the cupboards, I used wood. For the cross sections of the kitchen, once again, I used the same type of wood for the cupboards, but this time I added some shadows because on these images you can see also the back parts of the cupboards as they don't have doors in this case. I also added some home appliances, like for example this washing machine over here, the oven, and the microwave oven. And last but not least, I added this metal texture, similar to the one I used for the table, to this absorbator, or I don't know how it's called actually. Uh, and then I also added some shadows to the walls and in the regions that are below the cupboards, which are also going to be in shadow. Okay, so our next and final task was to draw the famous Farnsworth house created by Mies van der Rohe, one of the greatest architects. So something very common for him that I've noticed is that he uses this material travertine for the floors and the stairs of his buildings. Even in the pavilion in Barcelona, he uses the same material, which is this right here. So I used the exact same material for the floor tiles and the stairs. Then for the furniture, I looked at a lot of reference images because I wanted to get it 100% right. Some of the furniture is made out of wood, which has like a lighter tint to it. So I made it out of that, and then the rest of the furniture, for example, those two tables and those cupboards, are made from this darker wood. So I wanted to keep it accurate as much as possible. Then for the chairs, they're made out of this light, like orangey leather, so I used that. And then the sofa and the other two chairs are made out of this dark brown leather with pins inside of it. So once again, I found the texture and I placed it on top of them. For the two bathrooms, I used an image of an actual bathtub, of an actual sink, of an actual toilet looked from above to make them look more realistic, to look like, to create the sense of depth once again. And I used a real image of bed sheets and pillows for the bed with the same purpose. Okay, as we can see, we have some dimensions. Then we have the side view of the house. This is the house looked from the right side, as you can see on this little diagram right here. And there is this arrow pointing so that you can see where we're looking, where we're standing in relation to the Farnsworth house. So basically here for this house, I added some reflections to the windows. I used the original white color that the house is painted in. For this front part of the house, which is closer to the viewer, I used like a little gray, like a little more gray color, because there's this principle that, like, if an object is closer to you, there's like a shadow cast on it, and then the further it is from you, it's lighter. So that's why these columns here, which are the closest to us, are in an even darker gray, as you can see. For the background, I used images of trees and grass, because the Farnsworth house uh, is standing on top of a meadow, a green meadow. Okay, so here we have the house looked from the left side. Basically, the image is almost the same. The only difference is the stairs, and I added some dimensions so that it's more clear. And then once again we have the trees and the grass, which I forgot to mention are not like at 100% opacity. They're at 60% opacity, because the main focus here should be on the house and not on the environment, not on the background. Okay. This is the house looked from the back, as you can see once again on the little diagram here. I added some dimensions. More or less the rest is the same. In this case, this frontal part of the floor is white because it's further away, as you can see from this diagram, and this other part is closer to us, so there's going to be some kind of shadow cast on it. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the house looked from the front. Here, the difference is that we have those two glass doors at the front, which give access to the interior space. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye and have a nice day.